Thanks for tuning in to the World XP podcast. If you're enjoying the content, please drop a sub, drop a like, and let us know your thoughts below in the comments. Also, please consider supporting our podcast via the link below. It really helps us out.
Mustafa, welcome back to the show, man. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Eric. It's great to be back.
Yeah, of course. So this will be the last podcast of 2023. Because the next Monday after that will be New Year's. So we're going to end with one that is near and dear to me, and that is all things football. And we brought the one and only Mustafa, one of the best football fans that I know. We brought him back to just have a nice conversation, and we'll see where it takes us. Also, big news. Did you see that about the Super League thing? Do you see what happened?
I did.
So fitting timing for that, I'd say, just for us,
Absolutely.
that they came out with the decision. So we'll start off with the question from the previous guest, Phil.
Sure.
If you guys didn't get a chance to listen to that, Phil's a AI and like data consultant guy, so he's working with all the AI people, and yeah, it was a good episode. But his question for you, and he didn't know who it was, but his question is, if you could master a skill overnight, what would it be and how would you use it?
Ooh, that is a good one.
Yeah, dude. They've been good questions all the way from all the guests. Has been good.
Master a skill.
Overnight. Like you wake up tomorrow and you will have it and you're like amazing at it.
When I was a kid, I always wanted to be a big soccer star, as you know, and Drogba was one of my idols. So I would say have, amazing soccer ability and be able to play professional.
There you go. Win the World Cup and all sorts.
Oh, yes. You have to go for the ultimate prize,
Yeah, man. Of
A
course.
Messi style send off. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That would. All right. That's a good answer. Very fitting for the episode.
Of course.
Okay, so let's start with the Super League stuff, and then we'll jump on to all the rest of it.
Of course.
So my understanding of the Super League is that the European governing body of whatever said that UEFA's ruling that the Super League was like that they couldn't do it was unlawful according to like European law. And I don't really understand how the EU works and stuff because the English teams were in it, but England is no longer a part of the EU because of Brexit.
Right.
And the CEO of the Super League came out and was like, "Oh, football is now free" or something, some nonsense like that. And then I was listening to Gab and Jules today, and they were like, "Well, like both sides have a twist on it, and in the end, probably this means nothing really because it." So I don't know.
I mean, it's no different than what they tried to do. I think it was 2 years ago, the La
Yeah,
Liga teams somehow feeling like they can break away from Champions League and create their own competition. I think now it's telling that all the other big clubs from the Power Five, if you will, quickly said no. Whereas 2 years ago, there were some who kind of like, were teasing the idea of jumping on board. So it's not surprising that, it's not going to go any further. Hopefully, I think this is the end all be all that it'll die on arrival, so you speak. But it's telling that, big historical clubs like, Real Madrid want to push this forward.
yeah. Well, I think especially for Barca, it's only the financial incentive for them is the big driving force. I don't know what's strange. I think is next year the year that they're switching up the Champions League format, I believe, to
Yeah,
like that big league. So it's going to be a league anyways, a European
right,
league anyways. So like I don't really get.
right.
I get it from the standpoint of like, do you play FIFA career mode and you made a Super League in career mode? Do you ever do
I
that?
have I have not.
So back when we were in high school, I used to do that. I used to put Real Madrid and Barca into the Premier League and Bayern Munich into the Premier League and and all the best teams just because it was fun.
Right.
So I get it from a competitive standpoint,
hmm
but that's it. But the only way it works is in a video game, really.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I get it, but also I don't.
I think
I
Barca's
it
intentions though are money, strictly speaking. I think they're even playing a friendly, I think next week or next month to raise money. A mid-season
today.
friendly is almost unheard. Oh, wow, look at that. Almost unheard of in Texas, middle of the season for money reasons, because they owe their
Mhm.
creditors money. And it's like they're incentivized to, sell off some of their players. So Barca's stake in the game is clearly, self-serving as to why Real Madrid is, driving this. That's a little bit more to be seen.
Yeah, it's very strange. The EU and the political like how the European political system works is something that I don't really understand. But the Barca, the friendly, they're playing Club America today in Texas, and they played
Oh,
yesterday in the league.
yeah,
So
yeah,
they
it's
played
crazy.
yesterday. They hopped on a plane to Texas, and now they're playing. It's like
And they're probably going to use first team players because they want the ticket sales to be, high.
they have to. They have to.
Yeah, yeah,
So what does that mean for the players? Everybody's been saying, "Oh, too many games for the players. That's the reason why Pedri and Gavi and all these guys are injured." And then they turn
right.
around and do this, and I'm sitting there thinking, "Well, like the mess that they're in is
It's
incredible."
mismanagement upon mismanagement upon mismanagement, and they're not helping themselves.
And Messi papered over the cracks for so long, and now that he's gone, it's at 9 p.m. tonight.
Oh wow,
So
interesting.
in 30 minutes at time of recording.
Yeah, they'll get
Insane.
they'll get fans in the seats. It's because it's Barcelona. They've relied on Messi and their history for so long, and now it's like even some of the players you see like Koundé and Lewandowski who've gone there based on history alone are
Hmm.
about to be sold, or at least there's rumblings that they need to sell them to make up, I think what was it, 40 million to their German backers. So
Yeah,
that'd
something
be
crazy.
interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be a weird one. I don't I don't know. You could make arguments for a fair number of those guys to be sold, but I don't even know.
Hey, as long as Chelsea doesn't get in the bidding for them, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah. All right. Um, you want to start any other thoughts on the Super League?
Well, I mean, let's stay tuned. It's in decision just dropped. Let's see what happens. Things like this seldom go away. I'm sure there's going to be, more to come from, I guess, a FIFA perspective, UEFA perspective, especially if the two La Liga clubs continue to push this forward. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
And it'll be interesting that they're still pushing it without, or at least publicly, without the support of the English clubs and Bayern Munich. And
PSG
I don't know if
all those
PSG
clubs.
has
Yeah.
said anything.
No,
Juve
they
is
said
kind
no.
of PSG did. So
Yeah.
Juve is kind of I don't know if they've said anything either, but I don't think the fans, at least of the English clubs, will let, based on the protests that we saw in,
Mhm.
I think, April 2021. I don't think the English clubs will go for it. And then, so what kind of Super League is it if you don't have City and Liverpool and all those teams? So I don't know. We'll see.
Exactly.
We'll see for sure.
Hmm.
Do you want to start with Boxing Day predictions or Champions League predictions?
Let's jump right into Champions League because when the draw came out, oh boy.
All right, let me go pull up the graphic that you sent me not too long ago. Oh, I just did something what did I do? I just did something in our chat by accident.
Oh, I didn't even. You probably did vanish mode, so you probably have to look, click up or swipe up, and it should come
Oh,
back.
okay. Yeah, there you go. That is exactly what I did. Okay, here we go. So for those listening, I did a really quick rundown in the solo one that came out last week. And I mentioned that we would do a more in-depth today with Mustafa. So all right. So Porto, and so I'll start with you because I kind of gave my thoughts last week. But
Hmm.
so Porto Arsenal, what are you thinking? Key matchups to watch, anything and everything, like little interesting tidbits that you find, prediction who's gonna go through.
One-sided affair easily. Arsenal should win this handily. There's just no competition. I think they have great pace up front with Nketiah. You have Saka there, Martinelli, Havertz off the bench. If he's off the bench, it's just, I guess, too much pace, too much young talent. Porto, on the other hand, their defense, anchored by Pepe, who's 45 at this point in time.
He's still
I just
balling
think
though.
he's still going, but credit to him. But I think Arsenal's pace, their midfield set up the way they, Odegaard, and you also have Jorginho off the bench. It's just like they're too quick. They're leading the Premier League, I believe, by a couple points. So they should win this handily. I'll be surprised if they fail to advance forward.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it'll be as straightforward. Um,
Hmm.
like Taremi is a quality player. Galeno has got a lot of pace. Um, and they're organized, right? They're organized and they sit in that 4-4-2 setup,
Hmm.
and they've got quality on the break. So
Right.
yeah, I'm with you. Arsenal should go through, but I don't think it'll be super straightforward, especially Porto at home at the Dragao is always
Hmm.
a tough place to go, right? They played Barca pretty evenly. Not that I mean Barca's very hit and miss, but they played Barca pretty evenly in the group. So I don't I agree that Arsenal will go through, but I think it'll be closer, I think, maybe than people think. But yeah, I agree with you
Right.
that Arsenal should go through.
Score predictions for first game.
Oh, I don't. Where's the first game? Is it in London?
I believe so. Could be wrong, but
I'm gonna say it. See, this is
let me
important. I don't. Yeah, go
let me
look it
look.
up.
Let me
But I'm gonna.
let
I
me take a
said
look.
in my prediction last week, I think I said 60-40 Arsenal, or 70-30, something like that.
Mm, let's see. So it looks like it is going to be for that first matchup. It's going to be in Porto, first matchup.
Part of me wants to go 2-2 or something like that.
Okay. I would go 2-1.
2-1 to Arsenal.
Yeah, 2-1 to Arsenal. I think the
Hmm.
home crowd's always, a big factor, so that'll spur them for one goal in the second half. But I think that Arsenal is too young, too quick, too organized, and if you're leading the Premier League, the best league in the world, you should handle Porto very easily. But stranger things have happened, such is the beauty of football.
Yeah, I feel like on aggregate it'll be like a 5-3 type scoreline on aggregate. So whether it's a
Hmm.
2-1 and a 3-2 or something like that, I think
Right, right.
that's my gut feeling, but I don't know.
We
We'll
could see
see.
it. And refereeing could play a key piece in every single one of these matchups, as we've
Yeah,
seen. So
100%. Okay. Any final thoughts on that one? Or you want to move on to the next one?
I'm good with that one.
Okay. Napoli, Barca.
I have to say this is probably the most juicy matchup on paper if we look at through all the matchups. This one's a toss-up. I want to say Napoli,
You said they lost 4-0 the other day
I
in the cup.
know, but Barcelona is just so bad. I thought they'd be better than they are. Like they have so many injuries. I mean, of course, those could heal up, but I just I don't know. This one, I would go. I think it's gonna be a cagey affair. I'd probably say 2-0 to Napoli for this one. First leg is
Are
going
they
to
playing?
be in
They're playing in
Naples.
Naples. Okay.
Naples, yeah, Naples for this one. I'll say 2-0. I don't see it. Barcelona haven't been the same in probably a few seasons. Not even like preceding Messi's departure. They just lost the spark. I don't think Osimhen's locked up. I think that he's motivated. He can score goals. He's a pure striker. I don't know. It remains to be seen if Lewandowski's the Lewandowski of his time at Bayern and Dortmund. Kunde is not really playing. He's not in the team. He's expendable. Christensen, Pedrin, Gavi. There's just injuries everywhere. You know, I yeah,
Ter
I'm going
Stegen's been
Napoli with
out
this one.
as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of I said 50-50. Napoli, they're good, right? But then all of a sudden I don't know. I neither team gives me confidence, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. Like they're both
Right.
talented teams, but I could see both teams screwing it up.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, so I went 50-50. I think like a 2-1 Napoli or a 2-2, something like that in the first leg. I keep fence sitting, but
Hmm.
that's just how the teams are kind of set up. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I Part of me wants to say Napoli goes through if I had to pick one. I think
Right.
if they get a handy, like a good enough win in the first leg, I think that they could go through.
Hmm.
But I don't know if they can go to Barcelona and get a result.
Right. You don't think so?
I don't know. I can't tell, right? I can't tell
You
because
know,
you look at Araujo and he's just got this defensive ability that, like, you could see it going both ways, right? You could see Osimhen
Hmm.
causing them all sorts of problems and bagging 2 or 3 goals over the 2 legs,
Right.
and you could see Araujo blocking him up.
Hmm.
Both are very possible. So
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
We'll
I
see.
mean, it'll be interesting. It has my attention. I think there's only two sets of matches that have my attention. I think historically this draw was just bad. It was one of the worst in a long time. There's not a lot to be excited about if you look at it from a top-down approach for sure.
Well, a lot of the I mentioned this also. A lot of the good teams are not as like they're not as strong as they were,
Oh,
but the
absolutely.
teams that were considered worse have caught up a little bit. I think
Exactly.
if you were to look at the top 5 leagues, I think the quality top to bottom has risen.
Hmm.
But there's not as many truly world-class players now that there was 10 years ago. There's no, like, the front three of Bale, Ronaldo, and Benzema would
Hmm.
still be the best front three in this competition. But you had them
Right.
and Messi, Suarez, Neymar playing at the same time, and both of those would be the best front threes
Hmm.
in all of them. And so
Right.
you don't really have that anymore.
Hmm.
Those teams just filled with world-class players. Even Bayern, you look at
Right.
a team like Bayern or City, even, like, is Manuel Kanji really a world-class player? Yeah, not really.
City really never really had quote unquote world class. They had great players. Like I don't believe Kevin De Bruyne. He's probably a fringe. Holland's, you
Him,
know,
De Bruyne and Holland at their best are definitely they are definitely up there, I think. But I
sure.
and maybe you could you could argue a Bernardo Silva or somebody like that gets into that
Hmm.
category, but that's kind of it.
I mean,
Ruben
Ederson as
Diaz of
well from a
last
goalkeeper
year.
perspective, fine, but
Ederson, as a shot stopper though, like, yeah,
yeah,
distribution, yes, but as a shot stopper,
yeah,
yeah. So, and they're probably the best team.
right,
Whereas you look at Barcelona of 10 years ago or Real Madrid of 10 years ago, every
right.
single
Those
position.
juggernaut teams
Yeah,
stacked.
yeah.
Yeah,
There aren't really that many of those, but you look at, right, the Napoli Barcelona matchup is a great example of it. You got a player like Osimhen and the Kvaratskhelia, or however you pronounce the Georgian
yeah,
left winger, right? Both two really, really
hmm,
good players. And then you're kind of like, who else is in the team? Like, they've
right,
got good players, Zambo and Gisa and Labotka and some of these other guys. And then for Barcelona, you've got Araujo and Ter Stegen and De Jong and Pedri, and then Rafinha and Ferran Torres. Like,
yeah,
and so even the quote worst teams um now have a shot because you got Atletico Madrid, not filled with world beaters, but they're super organized and they've got Antoine Griezmann.
right,
Um, Inter Milan, super organized, and they've got Lautaro Martinez, right? So it's all of
hmm,
them are kind of, the gap has kind of closed, but from both
right.
ways. The bottom has gotten worse, and or the bottom has gotten better, and the top has
Better in the,
gotten worse.
oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So you're right. The draw on paper, from a team name perspective, is not as great, but I think actually on the field, we'll see some really good games.
Oh,
So
of course. Yeah, so on to the next one. Like I think, PSG,
mhm.
they should be licking their lips on this one. I on again on paper they should win this handily, but we all
Yes.
know Real Sociedad, I think they're fifth on the table in La Liga, so they're not a team to be, sneezed at. Actually, let
No,
me
and they won their group with
yeah.
Inter in it, I believe.
Yeah, they're sixth in the table. So they're 4 points back of Atletico Madrid. So
Hmm.
I think PSG, they've struggled. We've watched them in the group of death with Newcastle barely winning that by controversial penalty. They lost to Newcastle 4-0. I think they lost even to Dortmund. So it's
No, they beat
PSG's
us. They beat
both
us and
times.
tied us.
Oh, Titus. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, if you look at like PSG of 10 years ago with the failed even Messi and experiment with Neymar there for so many years, you had great players historically at PSG, never been able to get it done, minus 2020 when they got to the final. I think, Mbappe he hasn't looked the best, he has pace, but he underperformed, I think, in the group stage. We'll
Hmm.
see if he regains his magic along with players like Hakimi and Gonzalo Ramos there. And so again, they should win. They have a great manager in what's his name?
Luis Enrique.
Luis Enrique, yeah, great manager, great tactician. He's been able to organize them well. I think leading the French league is nothing to really write home about, but this matchup should be one that PSG wins. I think it's going to be a low scoring affair. I'm going to say 2-0 for this one, first leg, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 2-1 or even a 2-2 because
Yeah. Do you listen to Gavin Jules at all? Are you
I do.
familiar with them? So did you
Yes.
hear what Jules said about this?
I think if I remember correctly, he said something along the lines of PSG were cautious about this one. They're not really. I mean, the Paris fans rather, they're cautious about this one because Sociedad can hit you on the counter and they're well organized defensively as well.
Stylistically, it's not a good matchup for PSG, is what he was saying.
Right.
Even though the Parisian media are they're kind of like, yes, this is the best matchup, or like it's
Hmm.
an easy one on paper, but stylistically, the way they play,
Hmm.
he's like, this is no pushover. Kind of similar to the Arsenal Porto one, where on
Hmm.
paper PSG should win comfortably, but
Right.
Sociedad are a good side. Mikel Marino is in there, and Oyarzabal and a few others, and they've got quality
Kubo as
player.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
quality players as well. So um, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I'm with you though. PSG, I think they should go through. Um,
Hmm.
we'll see though. We'll see.
If they do not, is it the end of Mbappe in Paris?
That's an interesting one because I feel like it's the end of Mbappe in Paris anyways.
You think so?
He only signed a 1 year extension, didn't he?
I believe so, but I think I read something about Madrid's not going to bid for him in the January window, or I think they're going to offer him one more shot to come now, or it's
It was
done. But
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know, man. I don't know. If I'm Madrid, I don't really know, right? Because Barca's in such shambles. Like, do you really need to go sign Mbappe? You could like go get Holland or Osimhen or somebody like that instead, and don't even worry about the Mbappe headache. Because what if he does the same thing to them in
hmm
5 years?
right.
So I mean, and Bellingham is scoring out of his mind. Like,
And they
so
need defenders right now. They have how many players torn ACLs?
I think
It's
three or
crazy.
four. Yeah.
3 or 4. And they're talking about getting back Rafael Varane from United as well.
Well, yeah, because he's not even playing it. Well, that's its own. I'm sure we'll
Right.
get to United in a little bit when we get to the boxing when we get to the Boxing
hmm
Day.
Of
All
course.
right. Inter versus Atletico.
This one's interesting. This was the matchup for me that I circled and said this is the one to watch. I think they're two pretty evenly matched teams. If we look at Atletico, they have like star power Antoine Griezmann, but he's not the same Antoine Griezmann that shows up for France. I say that a lot, and people look at me funny, but it's just a fact. You look at his numbers, it's like it's not the same. But Inter has Lautaro Martinez. They have some talent. They were just in the final last season,
Barella's a
so
good player.
hmm they've always been a defensive minded, tuck it in, dark arts as they like to say, style player with Simeone. This one's hard to call. Hard to call. First matchup, at least I say 1-1. I think 1-1. I wouldn't be surprised for a zero
It's
zero.
gonna be like 0-0, 1-1 both games, and then it's gonna go to pens.
Mm, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Who do you have going through if you had to pick one?
This this one's tough. I want to see Inter because I think they play sexier football, in my opinion. But there's something to be said about the defensive prowess of Atletico. I would take, I would take, oof, I would take Atletico because I'm a big personal Antoine Griezmann fan. So
Yeah,
that's strictly what's deciding it for me here.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember what I said last week, but if I had to pick this time, I think I would pick Inter slight,
Hmm.
like 55-45. And if I
Hmm.
said Atletico last time, sorry, I'm fence sitting.
What
uh,
decides it for you?
for me, I think Lautaro is a bit more clinical, and then I look around the midfield. I think Barella is just. I think of the best 4 players or 5 players that'll be on the field. I think Inter has 3 or 4 of the best 4 or 5.
Hmm.
And I think that can win. Like Bastoni, uh, Oblak is obviously very good, but Inter has Jan Sommer.
Hmm.
DeMarco is a quality player. Barella is a quality player. Çalhanoğlu and Mkhitaryan are still quality. So I
Yeah,
don't
and they
know
all
that.
did nothing last season when it counted the most. So I'm suspect on them.
Well, they got. I mean, City. I don't know that game. So I don't know. I mean, sure, but they got to the final, right? So I mean, yes and
Mhm.
no, but neither did Atletico. So
Right. But they're leading, you're right, they're leading the Italian league by a country mile. So hey,
there's
but the
something there.
Italian league
I
is so bad now
I
anyway.
forgot
So
I forgot what Inter's coach's name, but what his name um is gonna bug me. But
it
he
is Simone Inzaghi.
yes. He's got that system that they run down to a T, and I forget who the second striker. Who's the second striker that Inter has?
Let me see.
I was gonna say Lukaku,
Alexis
but
Sanchez, but I think he's on the bench these
no,
days.
it's not Sanchez.
They've got Marco Arnautovic, but I don't think he's starting.
No, Arnautovic hasn't been good for them.
Quadrado is not a striker.
I don't
Mm,
remember. But in any event, I feel like they have just a little bit more,
yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit more. But like you said, Diego Simeone is all about the dark arts. So
Hmm. And
so
they shored up. They brought in one of my favorite players, defensively, and Cesar Azpilicueta. So I think that'll help organize them. We saw that impact again with Chelsea bringing in Thiago Silva when you have a veteran in the
mhm.
back line, what it does. So,
Well, they have. I mean, they have a lot. Like Jimenez has been around for forever,
hmm,
and Marcos Llorente is a good player. But I don't know. I feel like they just have a little bit more. Um, okay,
right.
PSV Dortmund.
Uh, I'll just say Dortmund. If you guys don't win this, if you
PSV's
guys
good.
don't win,
Are you ready to see 2 4-3 games? That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be goals on aggregate. It's gonna be eight
right?
7 or something like that.
Yeah. But I mean, the only reason I look at PSV, excuse me, is the American players. That I think they have 3 or 4 Americans on there who have
Hmm.
a chance to play for start and or play on the bench for the national team. So, but let's not pretend like they had a pretty easy group too. So I think again, it's one that Dortmund should handle. But I wouldn't be surprised if PSV put a couple goals across.
We'll find a way to blow this. On paper, we should go through, but I would not at all be surprised if we go out. Um, I don't
Mm,
even know. Yeah, there's no level of analysis to do for Dortmund as we are just
yeah.
no, not a clue. And Edin Terzic might not even be there by the time we play that game after the 2 draws that we just had. So
Hmm.
who knows? All right. Do we even need to talk about Bayern
No,
and Lazio? Okay,
no.
Bayern for sure. And
Except
then
I'll say if Thomas Tuchel's seat's going to be very, very high if they don't manage this one, if it's not already, because their league play has been a shambles too.
oh, it's been horrendous. The other thing, I don't even think I think his seat might I think it is hot already, but
Hmm.
I don't think just winning will be enough for this. I think they're gonna have to blow them out. For
Which they should, but they have
they
not looked
should, yeah.
convincing.
No.
Their group stage was
Even though
not the
Harry Kane
best.
is breaking records, they still haven't looked that convincing, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Let's skip that one too. They always, and I have conspiracy theories about this. They always round of 16. And quarterfinals get some kind of easy way. Year after year, we can look at it over and over again.
I believe you. I
I
do. I if I hope Copenhagen get a result in Copenhagen, even if it's a draw, just for the fans
Yeah,
there.
even if it's a goal in a blowout, which is probably that's just going to do so much for their fans.
Yeah,
Paying big money, it's historic for them. Nobody thought they'd make it here, so
yeah.
more
Well,
power to
they have United to thank for that. Um, all right, the last Leipzig and Madrid. What are your thoughts on that one?
I would say Madrid should win comfortable. I still believe that. their defense is suspect. All the injured, their midfield, I read something that, Militao should return in the new year sometime soon. I wouldn't rush him. I think if they tried it, like I mentioned earlier, go for Varane. They need some shoring up to do there. But with the master in Ancelotti and Jude Bellingham playing out of his mind, they should destroy Leipzig. But
Yeah,
strange things have happened.
Leipzig, they're super organized. I think Openda and Xavi Simons can cause Madrid some problems with all the injuries at the back. But like you said, that is true. Kamavinga's
Tchouaméni should
injured,
be,
I think.
yeah,
But
Tchouaméni should be
Tchouaméni,
drafted into defense. That's what Ancelotti was saying.
he might, yeah. And Bellingham, Cruz, Modric. I think is Cruz injured? I don't. They've got enough
No, Cruz is good.
midfielders.
Cruz is good.
Yeah, they've got enough midfielders that they should be able to even if they don't blow them out. I think they've got enough experience to get them
To
through.
see it through, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I think so as well. All right, Champions League predictions. Love that. Boxing Day. So this will come out on Christmas. So Boxing Day predictions. Let's just run down the list. There's 5 games on Boxing Day. We can even do the ones on that Wednesday as well. If you want.
Yep. So let's start.
So for the early one on Tuesday the 26th on Boxing Day is Newcastle against Nottingham Forest. The game is at St. James's Park. What are your
Right.
thoughts?
I'm going Newcastle. We saw Nottingham Forest fire their coach, I think yesterday, bring back a familiar face in the Premier League in Nuno Espirito Santo. That should help stabilize the team. I just think that, Newcastle is rejuvenated after their early exit from Champions League. Saw their match, I think, a couple of days back. They played very, very good football, So even though they just lost to Chelsea and I think, in the Carabao Cup, I still think they should handle Nottingham Forest quite easily.
Yeah, I think so too. I also think I don't know, the firing of Steve Cooper, I think the players liked him apparently. So Nuno could either stabilize or destabilize, right? Like so I don't know. I think it's a toss up. I think he's a good coach, but
Hey, he flamed
Newcastle,
out. He was in the Saudi league and he flamed out because the players didn't
yeah.
like him. So hey,
Yeah,
anything's
so
possible.
we'll see. Newcastle on paper should win, but they just look dead. Like
Yeah,
they don't have the energy. I think if Nottingham Forest come out flying, that they might be able to get a result, but I think Newcastle maybe wins like a 2-1 or something. I think the fans get behind them, and I think they can win a 2-1 maybe or something along
yeah,
those
I agree.
lines.
Especially since they, their last matchup this time out, they lost against Chelsea in penalties. So they're gonna come
Yeah,
back motivated to get a result out of this one.
yeah, for sure. All right, Bournemouth at home to Fulham.
Fulham, need I say more? Need I say more? I think Bournemouth are in relegation. They're forever in relegation zone. Fulham had a good game. They just
They've
beat
got 4 wins.
Everton.
They got 4 wins in their last 5. Bournemouth do.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't watch them, but I know. But I still think they're still in the relegation zone. I believe. But
No, I don't
let
think
me see.
so. Not anymore. Let's pull up the
Let me
table.
see.
They're in 14th.
Oh, really? Okay.
They are. They're 10 points clear of relegation.
Okay. So who are the 3 in the bottom? Let's see.
Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah, but again, I think that Fulham just beat Everton the other day, penalties as well. They're great. They're a good team. They haven't. It seems like they haven't missed a beat, even though they did lose a couple of their players. They lost their strikers. I forget from the last season. I forgot his name. The hothead
Mitrovic.
Mitrovic. Yeah, they lost him. Willian is back. He provides veteran presence and good, solid goalkeeping. I think they should win this.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised for a draw. 1-1 draw.
I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna say Bournemouth win
Really?
2-1. 2-1 as well. Yeah, Bournemouth at home. They've won their last 5 games are 4 wins and a draw. I think that they can get a result at home.
Yeah.
It's
I
gonna be
wish
day
Tyler
after
Adams was
Christmas.
bad,
The fans are gonna be going for it. I think they could do something.
Yeah.
Next game, Sheffield United at home to Luton. So a relegation 6-pointer. Nah, well, I think they're both gonna end up going down, but
Yeah. Luton just had, tough game postponement with their captain going down.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an emotional game for them. Sheffield, I will go Luton 1-0. I
Yeah,
think that's
I
gonna
agree.
motivate them.
I think the emotional side, I think will might get him a result for sure. Both of
Mhm.
them are one win, four losses in their last five. So form is the same. I think
Right.
so yeah, I'm with you. Burnley at home to Liverpool.
Liverpool 3-0 for me.
So for me, I think some of it is going to depend on the Liverpool Arsenal game on Saturday. So 2 days from time of recording,
Hmm.
which will have already happened by the time this game is released.
Yep.
I think if Liverpool if Arsenal wins or it's a draw or if Liverpool doesn't play well, I think they're going to come out flying and beat Burnley like 5-0. But
Good point.
I think if they win, it'll be a closer game because I think Liverpool will have they'll be like, "Oh, phew, we got through Arsenal." Like,
Hmm.
dude, and take their foot off the gas, kind of like the mental side of the
Rotate the
game.
squad out, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of that, but I don't know. I think they'll
Hmm.
win either way, but they should win
Right.
either way.
Hmm.
Then the big one,
Oh
United
dear.
United at home to Aston Villa.
Where do we start here with Manchester United? First of
Yeah,
all,
I'll kick my feet up. You go for a rant.
if I think Ten Hag should be gone. He has done nothing to increase the squad in terms of wins. There's more player acrimony. There's players he calls out players. Sancho, De Gea's gone, and I didn't think he was the problem. He's gone. I think Onana is not better. He hasn't proven it. He's had moments, but on the whole, I would ride with De Gea. A player, a Champions League winner multiple times over, and Varane not playing, not seeing first team action. You got to question that. Players out of the squad. Anthony's not who we thought he'd be. I'm a fan of Garnacho, but that's about it. Maguire is somehow still in the squad. That squad needs to be sold. I wanted the Qataris to get that squad because I thought they would pour so much money into it, knew everything, stadium training facilities. That didn't happen. But in terms of what we have
Maguire
here,
won Player of the Month, man.
and
He's been playing well.
he's because he's getting game time because their squad's so bad or there's so many injuries. Other than that, hey.
Let me throw this at you because I don't
Hmm.
disagree with a lot of the stuff that you said. But I would say that United, for all of their problems, are still only 6 points outside the top four. That's two results.
Right.
That's it.
And
So
so they have this match.
I would point to Ten Hag as working wonders with this team, to be totally honest. Like with the players
Mm,
that they have, it's similar to the Steelers in the NFL. Like we are
hmm.
horrible, but somehow we're in a wild card spot right now. It's kind of a similar situation. Obviously he's not working wonders with them, but
Right.
I feel like he's not getting any help from the players. Right. At the end of the day, the players are the ones that are playing, and
Hmm.
if so, I I don't think that firing Ten Hag will fix anything.
Oh no, it won't.
To be honest, and I don't think that's
That
the
should be
answer.
I think it should be a first step. They need a whole complete overhaul, and they're
No,
planning to do that. They're going to
I
sell so many players.
I think that they should sell a lot of players and then give Ten Hag another season after that because who would they hire?
They can hire anybody off their name alone. Not
Who?
Wayne Rooney. I swear, if they bring him in, not him. He does not need a big job.
So what coach would be an
Uh,
upgrade though?
Available or just in general.
Available.
Let's see. I hadn't thought that far. I would say
That's the problem.
no. I
Like
can give you some names, but whether or not they're generally gonna
who?
be.
Zidane? You think Zidane would take it? No, I don't think so.
I wouldn't say no so quick because I think he hasn't. I think he's waiting for Ancelotti to leave to take that job back. But hey, you know, I'll have to get back to you. But like, I think I've seen
I thought he was going to the French national team
Deschamps is gonna be
after
there
they.
for but Deschamps is gonna be there for how long?
Anyways, point being is
Yeah.
who's available to take nobody's there. So
Right.
I don't
But
know.
just looking at their schedule, just forecasting ahead, they got on the 23rd, we saw West Ham. I think they lose that or at least draw. So let's give them 1 point there. Then they got Villa. I think they lose that. Villa's a great team, coached very well.
Mm-hmm.
Great World Cup winning keeper there. I think they lose that. They win Nottingham Forest, so we'll put them at 4 points. Then they play FA Cup game. We don't care. Then they play Tottenham. I think they lose that. So, and then Wolves. Wolves been playing good. Then they play West Ham again. So,
Mm-hmm.
hey, they may drop.
They might. Yeah, I don't disagree with a lot of what you said. I guess
Hmm.
my thing is like people are expecting United to be top four, but when you look
Oh,
at the
no, no,
player,
no.
well, generally that's where they want to be. But I'm saying
Right.
if you look at the players they have on paper, they shouldn't be top, they should be where they are.
Hmm.
Like if you
If
go
not worse, I think they've done
right, or
a good job.
that's
Yeah.
to my point about Ten Hag not actually being as bad as everyone says he's being. Like on
Yeah.
paper, let's just go. Let's play a game for a
Sure.
second. We'll just go position by position, and then
Hmm.
we'll say who would and we'll use the six above them. So Newcastle, Spurs, City, Aston Villa. Maybe we don't have to include Aston Villa because I don't know a lot of well, we can.
Right.
Liverpool and Arsenal. And we'll say like United's hypothetical starting lineup, and then we'll say, does any player get into the team above them?
Hmm.
Oh, if you go Onana, does he get into any of the teams above them?
You mean on the table, right?
Yeah, as the starter,
No,
right?
no.
The only one I could make an
Well,
argument for Nick Pope.
Newcastle.
No, Pope is better. I think,
Fair,
anyways.
fair.
Right back. You want to go Dallo or Wan-Bissaka, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, does
I
Dallo or Wan-Bissaka get into any of those teams? Maybe Spurs.
I don't know Aston Villa's back line.
Matty Cash, like he's a good player.
He's a good player. Yeah. No, no.
The only other one I could make argument for is Spurs if Emerson Royale is playing. But Pedro
Hmm.
Porro's been good too. So
Yeah, he's been good.
does he? Okay, center backs. We'll say Johnny Evans and Maguire or Lindelof because that's who's been playing. Do
Lindelof, no,
do
he
they?
does not breaking. No,
No, none of them do. To
none of them
any of
do.
like even Aston Villa, who has Diego Carlos and Pau Torres.
No.
No. Spurs when they're healthy, no, because it's Romero and Van de Ven.
Romero's suspect, as with the cards, so always letting
Yeah,
his team down. So
yeah, that's fair. But still, you'd take Romero over
right,
them for sure.
right,
Left back, Luke Shaw, I think, is one of the only ones that you can make a legit argument for.
yeah, I like him.
Maybe, maybe Aston Villa, you could make an argument that he's better than Luca Digne.
Hmm.
Um, maybe you can make an argument that he would get in the team instead of Udogie at Spurs,
You're right.
and maybe you could make an argument that he's better than Dan Burn at Newcastle.
Yeah,
But
that's about it.
like it's not worlds better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, midfield. Does Casemiro get into any of those
Yes.
teams?
Just on what he's done at Madrid, he's still got it. I think the system that he's in right now, the coaching. I think if you put him in a new situation, I think he could get
Okay,
into.
so one player so far,
Yeah,
Ericsson.
I would say he came from Tottenham once upon a time. Is he better than the Tottenham midfield? I
Basuma,
personally,
Basuma, and like Hoiberg and
I
Madison.
think he's better. I think I would take him over Højbjerg.
They're different players. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't disagree, but they're different players. And even so, like even Aston Villa midfield with Tielemans and Kamara and Douglas
hmm,
Luiz and McGinn, they're balling out. They're quality players for
yeah.
sure. But I don't even know
Mason
who
Mount,
else. Mount hasn't played in forever.
yeah, yeah.
Who's the other midfielders? McTominay?
No,
No. Who's another midfielder?
Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno does. You could make argument for Bruno.
Yeah.
Okay, wingers. Anthony.
No.
No. Like he's going against so the teams that he could Anthony Gordon, nah. Kulusevski? No.
No.
The right for City would be Foden or Doku
Yeah.
or Alvarez. No. Aston
No.
Villa, Moussa Diaby. No.
No.
Liverpool, Salah. No. And
No.
Arsenal, Saka, definitely not.
No. Yeah.
Left wing, Garnacho slash Rashford.
Yeah, this
Rashford.
one's tough. This
I
one's tough.
mean, yeah, but like
Rashford
so,
as of late, no, but Rashford on a good day, yes.
could.
Good,
But
yeah.
even if you look at Arsenal, Martinelli, Luis Diaz for Liverpool,
Mhm. I
Aston
think he could
Villa,
challenge Martinelli.
he could.
Rash on a
But
good day,
it's a
Martin.
challenge, but it's not like
Yeah,
it's a clear yes,
it's
he's
not clear.
better.
Yeah.
Aston Villa, Bailey or Moussa Diaby on the other side, or
Hmm.
John McGinn, depending on the formation they play. So it's a little bit different. City would be Grealish and Doku. Like Spurs, Son, he doesn't get in ahead of Son.
You think he gets in ahead of Grealish though? Because Grealish he rides the bench a lot more than he plays sometimes.
But so then does he get in ahead of Doku or Foden?
No,
And then Hoyland as striker.
he's being wasted. That's my personal opinion right now.
Sure.
Yeah, but see, I don't have a sample size on him.
Do you take Hoyland instead of Isak? Toss
On
up.
that team, yes.
Maybe,
I think if he
maybe.
gets the service, good service, yeah, he can do some
But
damage.
but it's still a maybe.
No, I would go yes.
Yes, you would.
I think he's he's like a Holland that's body, strong, central striker. Isak is,
Yeah.
Isak probably had beats him for pace, but that's about it.
I don't know. I think I rate Isak pretty highly. I don't know, that might just be me. I
Yeah,
think he's really good though.
I don't have a sample size in Hoyland. I just, if he's a Holland style profile
Mhm.
type player, obviously.
Yeah. Spurs. Who's playing striker at Spurs at the moment?
Son,
Is Son playing? Well, who's playing off the left then?
let me look.
It's not Richarlison.
No, it's not. Spurs. It's probably. Let's see. That's injured. Not Benson. Let's see. Hmm.
Oh, Brennan Johnson.
Yeah. Their roster, they have like no forwards on their roster.
Oh, I forgot about Bentancur also. He's a good
Yeah,
player.
Rodriguez. Yeah, he is. They only officially have 3 forwards on their roster. It's interesting.
Depends on what's listed. I'm on ESPN. They've got like 7.
Oh, really?
But
Oh.
Son is listed as a forward and Brian Keel is listed as a forward.
Mm.
So Brennan Johnson, I mean, yeah, like so you could take
Yeah.
Hoyland over one of them. But then obviously Hoyland doesn't get in over Holland. Do you
No.
put Hoyland over Ollie Watkins?
No. And based off what we've seen, no.
Yeah. And then Darwin Nunez or Jota at Liverpool. Nunez is super hot and cold, so I could give you that
Yeah.
one. But like Jota or Gakpo or like as a whole, yeah.
Eh.
And then Gabriel Jesus at Arsenal.
He's hot and cold too.
He is, but or Nketiah. I mean, maybe, but
Nketiah has not been producing lately.
no. But point being, so we had
Yeah.
like 1 yes, 3 maybes, and the rest no.
No. Yeah.
So
But
like on
honestly,
paper, it's kind of like
yeah.
they are kind of where they should be.
But I mean, you
I
can say the same about like my beloved Chelsea. If we go player for player there, how many you honestly,
I think that Chelsea would do better if we played that game than United would, to be honest.
really?
Yeah, because you look at Reece James if he's healthy and Chilwell.
No, we can't do that. We can't do if healthy. We're saying as right now. No, I wouldn't trust him.
Okay. Enzo,
No,
no, he's not playing well.
no, he's not. That for the money commanded. No, not Caicedo either. Like,
Okay, fair enough then.
no, I mean, would you take anybody?
Well,
Like, like,
I guess my argument would be that if I look at the Chelsea roster, I would say that United is performing how they're supposed to be performing, but when I look at the Chelsea roster, I would say that you guys are underperforming.
oh, absolutely, absolutely,
So
with
I
all the
think
money.
so I think it's different.
Hmm.
Like if I look at Nkunku hasn't played, but Sterling, um, and Madueke, Cole Palmer, Gallagher, Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, the names
Yeah,
are
names alone tell you a different story.
Reece James, Chilwell. Like you guys should have the best two wingbacks in the league.
Hmm. So what
I
do
think.
you? I'll put you on the spot. What do you think Chelsea needs? They have a decent coach. I'm not very high on Pochettino. They have a
You
decent
guys
squad,
you guys
above
need a
decent.
strike. You guys need a striker. That's it.
Who do you think?
I don't know if they want to splash the cast for Osimhen or something like that. But I think Caicedo is still a good player, right? He's still only 22 years old. That's the thing.
Right.
The other thing with your rosters, I look down the roster on ESPN at least, anyways, and ages of I'll say the last like couple defenders. So obviously you got Thiago Silva, but
Yeah, he needs replacing.
generally speaking, this is the ages 24, 25, 25, 22. Thiago Silva's old. And then you got a couple other mid 20s, and then it's 20, 20, 21, 23, 20, 21, 17, 22, 22, 19, 20, 21, 23, 22, 19, 18. Sterling's 29, then 21, 22, and Kunku's 26, and then 22, 18, 19, 18. So the team is
The
super
squad's
young.
not balanced at all. See, that's the thing,
It's super young. So
right?
you guys need maybe another veteran midfielder, and then a striker. If it was me, and I don't think. Yeah, I mean, just looking at the squad, I would say that Chelsea's underperforming, whereas United is performing kind of where they're supposed to be, if
Hmm.
that makes sense.
Do you think
Um,
things would be different if Pochettino was at United and Ten Hag was at Chelsea?
no,
No.
because I think the makeup of the squads are what they are. So
Hmm.
I mean, you could say right, because then you say, oh well, Pochettino bought or didn't buy these players, and Ten Hag bought or didn't buy those players, and like, yeah, kind of, but
Hmm.
also like if just with the squads that they have now, I don't think it would be it.
I'll
They would
say this:
be
the reason I'm not so high on Ten Hag, I'm always suspect of any manager that comes from any league and just poaches their entire former squad and brings them over. I don't think that's good business. I don't think that's necessarily the way to build a squad. And that's exactly what he did. And now he's kind of paying for it.
I'm okay. Who did he brought in?
I can just look at the United roster. Let me see.
So, okay, so I've got it pulled up right now. I count three that he brought in. That's it.
And of those three, they're not playing week in, week out.
Well, Lisandro Martinez was.
He didn't
He's
bring in Donny
injured.
Van de
No,
Beek,
he
but
didn't. No, he
he
didn't.
didn't. Yeah.
I count Lisandro Martinez, Malacia, and Anthony as the three that he brought in from Holland, and Onana,
Mm,
I guess.
yeah.
Although Onana was like that should have been a good buy, right? He had a really good he's a good goalkeeper. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's a good goalkeeper.
Is he better than De Gea?
Last year he was.
So you would
When
take Onana if you're building a squad right now.
at this point, yes, because De Gea still had a mistake in him, and at a certain point they had to move on to try and play a different way.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, yeah, I would. I don't think
Fair enough.
De Gea doesn't fix the situation. because he would there would still be mistakes. I think just different ones. This is
They
not
were a better
this.
team last year with De Gea and most of these
Yes,
players.
yes, but I would say this as he transitions, as they try to transition to a team that plays more progressively and stuff. Right now,
Hmm.
he's got four defenders in front of him that don't want the ball. So his ability to play out of the back is kind of just like it's
Right.
not there because they're not playing. They're just hoofing it.
Hmm.
And the reason why De Gea looked better in that way is because all he had to do was hoof it. He didn't have to play.
Right.
Granted, the goalkeeper's number one job is keeping the ball out of their net, which he did a
Hmm.
good job of. But I think Onana's in his own head. I don't think he's I think him the player is a good player. And I don't think it was a
Then
bad
why don't the
signing.
Cameroon national team want him? That tells you something.
No, I think that was a personality thing. No, I think that he had disagreements with the coach. There's a fair amount of African teams where there's contingents within the federations and the coaching staffs that don't like each other. Um, like, did you hear the story that Kevin Prince Boateng when they all left during the World Cup and all that
Hmm.
stuff?
Hmm.
This happened. Ghana has happened with Cote d'Ivoire. It's happened with a number of Nigeria. I think has had some things
Right.
before. So I don't think that that is a good measure of players' worth, to be honest.
We'll give him another year. Like you said, give Ten Hag another year. The squad has to change in defense. I think Rafael Varane is too good to be rotting on the bench. So he's gonna be. I think Madrid are gonna make a bid for him.
Yeah.
We know that Sancho's leaving. Maybe one or two others. So we'll see what
Apparently,
they do.
Sancho might go back to Dortmund, so I don't know.
Hey, if he helps you guys, now she gets game time. So we'll see.
Who the hell knows? All right. Um. Okay, so let's do the Wednesday games, and then we'll quickly run through the Wednesday games, and the Thursday games, and I think that will be all 10 games for that match week.
Hmm.
And then we'll wrap it up.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Brentford at home to Wolves.
I'll go with Wolves. I think they've been playing good ball as of late.
Yeah, I agree. Every time I watch Wolves, I'm impressed, and then they can't
I
score.
know, right? You're right, exactly. I think they had a game a couple weeks back against Brighton. That was a great matchup. I like Kwang.
Yes.
they paid him. I think they paid him recently.
Yeah, he's
So
a good player. Mateus Cunha and Lamina have impressed me every time I've watched them. Pedro Neto has impressed me every time I've
hmm
watched him. Sarabia has impressed me every time I've watched him as
yeah,
well. Brentford's a good team. Thomas Frank is a good coach.
yeah.
But I haven't really watched enough of them to let's see. Head-to-head record last 5 games. Wolves have won 3 of them. So it's been 3 Wolves wins, 1 draw, and 1 Brentford win. So I think
hmm
Wolves, and they have the exact same record as well. So I think Wolves is all right. Chelsea at home to Crystal Palace.
Chelsea always disappoints you. I think they lost to even Sheffield United when they were supposed to win. But I have to ride with my blue. I just got to. Like, if they lose, so be it. It wouldn't surprise me if they lose. But I'm gonna ride with Chelsea.
I think
Two zip.
Crystal Palace riding the high from their comeback against City. I think they might not be as good. Um, yeah, I'll go with Chelsea also. Everton at home to
With a
City.
big asterisk.
Yeah, big, yeah, big one.
You say Everton and
Everton at home to City.
obviously City, but I think it'll be hard for them to score. I think Pickford's gonna be, he's the key for Everton. We saw him a couple of days back against Fulham play a great game, losing the penalty. So I think he's gonna make it difficult for the front of City to score, especially if Holland isn't back. I don't know how long he's supposed to be out, but I think City has a way of hanging in games, breaking you down and scoring
Holland's
when you
out.
think, yeah, he's been out. Yeah, I think he has an ankle.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so it'll put a lot of pressure on Foden and what's
Alvarez.
his Alvarez, yeah, to score. I think they will. I think they may leave it late, but Pickford is gonna, he's gonna have a big game there.
Yeah, Everton 4 wins on the bounce. Deitch has
Mhm.
them balling.
He does. He
I'll
does.
go. I'll go draw. I think if they were ever going to get a result against City, it would be this is the time that it's set up for.
Right.
All right, last 2 games of the match day. Brighton at home to Spurs.
Ooh, that's a great matchup. These two teams early in the season, they were balling both. They were top. I think they were top of the league at one point, both of them. But as of late, I'll tip it to Spurs. I think they have better coaching. I think you gotta believe in Son. He's scoring goals left, right. Defense. I think the only player I really like, Lewis Duncan, Matoma. Actually, wait. Hmm.
De Zerbi, I really like De Zerbi as a
I like
coach,
him
Brighton's
too. He's a
coach. Yeah.
great coach, but yeah, this one's tough. I'll say 2-2 draw for this one. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to pick one or the other.
I'll sit on the fence with you. Don't worry. All right, the last game of the match day, Arsenal at home to West Ham.
I don't think it's gonna be as easy as it looks. I think West Ham are gonna frustrate Arsenal. I think Arsenal's gonna win, but it's gonna be scratchy win 2-1.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Man, we got through all of it in like an hour.
Yeah.
Just like we said, we even added in some stuff about the Super League.
Hey,
All good things, man. All good things.
absolutely.
Any last nickels before we get you out of here?
I'd be crazy if I didn't bring this up, but real quick, your thoughts on MLS? We just wrapped up. We have Suarez coming to Miami. Thoughts on that?
Mm, don't know. I don't think Suarez, I think he's a lateral move. I think he fell out of a lot of the casual fans kind of view when he went back to Uruguay, I think he was, or
Hmm.
or Argentina, or like whenever he went back to South America, I think he fell out of a
Right.
lot of casual fans' view. So
Hmm.
I don't view this as a huge I haven't seen a lot of marketing around it.
Hmm.
In other MLS news, they tried to say that they weren't going to play teams in the Open Cup.
Right. That was
And
denied by
I
U.S.
yes, it
Soccer.
was denied, and I think that's huge. I think that's huge. I think if they had done that, that would have been a real kind of damper on the development of U.S. soccer. So I don't know. Like that doesn't stop them from playing B teams anyways. But
Right.
for MLS, the league, to say that, I think is really kind of it's not a good sign for the
Hmm.
development of soccer here. But I don't know. I'm glad I got denied. So we'll see what happens.
Yep. All right. So let's see. I owe you a question for the next guest.
Yeah, well don't say it now. We'll say it offline.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We'll say it offline. All right. Um, let us know your predictions in the comments, or if oh yeah, it'll be out before the game starts. So let us know your predictions in the comments. And then if we were wrong, feel free to make fun of us. Uh
Of course.
yeah. Yeah. All right, we'll end it there. I hope you guys all have had and or are having a very Merry Christmas whenever you listen to this, and a Happy New Year. Thank you guys for listening all year. Really appreciate the support. We will see you guys next year. Crazy. Peace.
Sounds good. Peace.